Welcome to this tutorial on Pod YAML manifests. In this video, we'll learn how to create Kubernetes pods declaratively using YAML configuration files. This approach is essential for managing pods in production environments because it provides consistency, version control, and reproducibility. Let's dive in and explore how to write proper pod configuration files with the correct YAML structure. A pod YAML manifest is a text file that describes the complete configuration of a pod. It's written in YAML format, which stands for YAML Ain't Markup Language, and is designed to be human-readable and easy to understand. This declarative approach means you define what you want, and Kubernetes figures out how to achieve it. Unlike imperative commands, where you tell Kubernetes exactly what steps to take, declarative manifests describe the desired end state. These files can be version controlled using tools like Git, making them reproducible and auditable. This is why the declarative approach using YAML files is the standard practice for production environments. Before we write a pod manifest, let's understand the basic YAML structure. YAML uses key-value pairs to represent data. For example, name:\nginx-pod. One critical aspect of YAML is that indentation matters. You must use spaces, not tabs, to create hierarchy and nesting. This is how YAML understands the relationship between different elements. Lists in YAML are denoted with hyphens. These fundamental rules apply to all YAML files, so it's important to follow them consistently to avoid syntax errors. Every Kubernetes object manifest, including pod manifests, must contain 4 required top-level fields. First is API version, which specifies the Kubernetes API version. For pods, this is always v1. Second is kind, which defines the type of object you're creating. For pods, this must be pod with a capital P. Third is metadata, which contains identifying information about the object, such as its name and labels. Finally, there's spec, which stands for specification. This is where you define the desired state of your pod, including the containers that should run inside it. These 4 fields form the foundation of every pod manifest. Let's look at a minimal pod YAML manifest. At the top, we specify API version :v1, indicating we're using the core API next. Kind::pod tells Kubernetes we want to create a pod. Under metadata, we provide a name for our pod, in this case nginx-pod. The spec section is where we define our containers. Containers is a list, so we use a hyphen. Each container needs at least 2 things, a name and an image. Here we have a container named nginx using the nginx image version 1.14.2. This is the simplest possible pod manifest that will actually work in Kubernetes. Let's explore the metadata section in more detail. The name field provides a unique identifier for your pod within a namespace. This name must be unique and follow Kubernetes naming conventions. The labels section is incredibly powerful. Labels are key-value pairs that you can use to organize and select pods. For example, you might add a label app:\nginx to identify this as an nginx application, and env:\production to indicate it's running in production. These labels become useful when you need to select or filter pods using label selectors. Services, deployments, and other Kubernetes objects use labels to identify which pods they should manage or route traffic to. Now let's dive deeper into the container specification. Under the spec section, containers is a list that can contain 1 or more container definitions. Each container must have a name and an image. The ports section allows you to document which ports your container exposes. Here we're specifying container port :80, indicating the nginx container listens on port 80. The env section lets you define environment variables that will be available inside the container. Each environment variable has a name and a value. In this example, we're setting an environment variable called env_var with the value production. These specifications give you fine-grained control over how your containers run. Now that you understand how to write a pod manifest, let's see how to use it. Step 1. Create a YAML file. Save your pod configuration in a file, typically named pod.yaml. Step 2. Apply it to your cluster. Use the command kubectl apply -f pod.yaml. The -f flag tells kubectl to read the configuration from a file. Kubernetes will then create the pod according to your specification. Step 3. Verify the creation. Use kubectl get pods to list all pods and confirm your pod was created successfully. You can also use kubectl describe pod, followed by the pod name to see detailed information. This workflow of creating, applying, and verifying is the standard pattern for working with Kubernetes manifests.
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.